Okay, hi, I'm going to do a video, a bit unusual. It's called Stalking in my bedroom. First thing I'll say, I'm not an expert, okay? I've been fishing for about 30 years, fly fishing, but stalking only for about 2 years, 2.5 years. Okay, and the idea of stalking is walking around a lake, spotting a fish you want to catch in the clear water, and putting your fly in front of that fish so you intercept it and hopefully it will take. Okay, so let's quickly go through the setup first. So, got a rod set up here. This is a 4-weight rod, which I'd use on a catch and kill fishery. But I also use 6-weight rods, which I can use on catch and release, and where the fish are a bit bigger or it's heavily weeded. Okay, I have a leader just short of the rod, so the fly line just pokes out of the top of the rod when I'm using it. Okay, and the fly, well, this one's a bright stalking bug. So let's quickly go through some more flies. And there's my fly time bench. Some more flies. Okay, we'll start this end. We'll start in the middle. So these are stalking bugs, or flies that have been heavily weighted. That is an important thing, they've got to be heavily weighted. Okay, so these are various stalking bugs. And these are more stealth damsels, I call them. And we have a couple of daddies there, pearly daddies. Okay, now we also have some normal damsels. Again, these are heavily weighted and they do catch a lot of fish stalking. And there's a mayfly at the bottom, mayfly. Other bugs you can use, well, there's obviously the when all else fails. Okay, then just normal patterns like hare's ear, black beaded buzzers. They've caught me a lot of fish stalking. And these on the end are what I call stealth stalkers, basically. And you can't see them in the water, so you have to test them in the margins first to see the sink rate, and then put it in front of a fish. Works really well, or can work well, for tricky fish. Remember one at Rockbourne, I tried several patterns for, and one of these caught it in the end. Okay, the last ones I'm going to show you are what I call true stalking bugs, what I've made up recently. I saw a top out stalking angler's fly box, and these are patterns what I've made up from memory of seeing that box. These can be used for blind stalking, which I'll go through in a minute, and normal stalking. So, as I've already said, basically you go around the lake, walking carefully. When you spot a fish, you will pick up your rod. You have your rod in your hand, and you can do what's called a catapult cast, which is pulling the rod back. I'll just shorten that up a bit. Very hard to do this with a phone. There we go. And you can do what's a catapult, especially for two ground, you can do what's called a catapult cast. And that's flexing the rod, pulling it back and letting go of a fly, and it will fling out. Or you can just drop the fly on the fish. Or you can, if there's a back cast, you can do an overhead sort of drop. Okay, once the fly's in the water, the fish's reaction could be one of several things. One, it could spook, just shoot off. Another one, it could back away, not interested. Then the other obviously reaction, it might come up to the fly and take it. And that's when you would lift into it. Okay, it's not usually a hard strike, it is just virtually a lift into it. Okay, the main thing is you need to get the fly either below or at the same level of the fish. The fish will either take on the drop. I'll show you. The fish will either take the fly as it's dropping, through the water. They either take it as you lift it in front of them, or if you jiggle the rod top, you can make everything pulsate, and they might take it then. Okay, another form of stalking which I've done recently is when you can't see the fish, but the water's clear. And what you can do is go around the whole lake, casting, dropping it in a rod length just out of sight into the deep water. Okay, it's called blind stalking, and then you pull it back, and quite often a fish will grab hold of, follow the fly into the margins and take it. So if this is a lake, this is how it works. So I would start, say, in this corner here, and I put a few casts in. And all this area here, I'm covering all the way around the lake. So I would work around that lake in about an hour and a half. This was a 4-acre lake called Rocklands Mere. And I would work around. And once I got down to this bank, I started going around this bank, around over reed beds. And I started hooking fish. And in the end, with 3 circuits around the lake, I managed to land 6 fish. Okay, what other equipment do you need for stalking? Well, you definitely need Polaroid glasses, okay, and a peaked cap, just to cut down the sunlight, okay. Also, to sink the leader, washing up liquid, as good as anything. Okay, so just let me check if I've covered most things. Yes, other sorts of stalking. You can use trees as a shield when walking around a lake. If you see fish, you can hide behind a tree, not to scare it, that sort of thing. Okay, and I quite often cast right into trees, which is called jungle. I call it jungle stalking. So that's basically it. That's stalking for you. Thank you very much for listening.